Hi, I'm Scott McLean from TranceMusicMastery.com. In this video, I will show you how Adam Sabo created a lead sound like the one heard in Propane original mix by Ronski, Speed, and Filo and Peri. And the sound that Adam came up with sounds like this. Okay, let's get started. Let me move these windows out of the way and I'll walk you through the Midi sequence. Basically some chord stabs, and I'm going to fold the Midi display here just to make it easier to see what notes are being played. So we've got C sharp, F4, A sharp 3, and A sharp 1, and then C5, D sharp 4, A sharp 3, A sharp 1, and so forth. You can go ahead and download this and look at the Midi sequence in more depth, but I'll go ahead and play it here in the video so that you can see when the notes hit and how they relate to the actual pitches of the notes that are being played. Okay, let me bring up the sound map. Adam Sabo says, classic super saw sound. Lots of detuned saw waveforms for that mega sound. Have one of the oscillators 1 octave higher for that brighter sound. This sound must be well EQ'd to make it sound good. Boost the highs for brightness and a bit on the low end to make it bigger. Some small peaks may be required in the mids. Lots of delay and reverb and a compressor to make the whole thing tight and packed. So this is a 3 oscillator patch. Each oscillator is configured for 11 stacked saw waves. Oscillator 2 is tuned up 1 octave. Those are mixed together and flow into the filter, which is a low pass mid drive. And then that flows into an amplifier with the volume being modulated by envelope 1 with zero attack, medium decay, sustain at 79% and a fast release. Then that flows to the effects and then to the main output. And for the effects, 1 EQ with a bandpass plus 1.5 dB boost near 1.1 kHz, another bandpass minus 2 dB cut near 300 Hz, and a high shelf plus 6 dB boost near 2 kHz. Then that flows into a second EQ with a low shelf plus 6.5 dB boost near 160 Hz, a bandpass plus 5 dB boost near 10 kHz, and a bandpass plus 2.5 dB boost near 800 Hz, and a high shelf plus 2.0 dB boost near 4.5 kHz. That then flows into a reverb with approximately a 4-second reverb tail, low dampening for bright reverb, and then to a compressor with long attack and long release, and then to the main output. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we're starting from the initialize patch, and right now the sequence sounds like this. And for the global section, we're going to leave the defaults as is. And what we want to do is set the stacking to 11 for oscillator 1, and then detune, set that to 12. Set the mixer volume, bring that up to 122. And then set the width to 96. And then for oscillator 1, we want to change soft, make it crisp. That helps make it brighter saw. Okay, next add oscillator 2 and set its stacking mode to 11 and set the tune. We're going to pitch that up 1 octave, so set tune to 12 semitones. These saws, oscillator 2, set the detune amount to 19.5. And for mixer volume, set that to 106. Just brings it up a little bit, and then widen it by setting the width to 98. And for oscillator 2, we want that to be crisp as well. Okay, next add oscillator 3. And we're going to configure this similarly to how we did oscillator 1. So set the stacking to 11, and then we'll set the detune to 12.5. Leave the volume at 100, set the width to 100. And set oscillator 3 to crisp. Okay, next let's configure the envelope. We're going to set the decay time rather short. We're going to set that at 39. And for the sustain level, it's currently at 80. We're going to lower that to 79. And we want to increase the release to 27.5. And that gives it a bit of a decay now. And we'll set velocity to 0. Okay, next we're going to add a filter. So add VCF1, set the type to mid drive, LP mid drive. And for this guy, we're going to leave cutoff where it is and just bring up the drive, bring that up to 7.5. And I'm going to enable and disable the filter so we can hear what kind of effect that's having. So here's without. Seems to help warm up some of the high-end noise sound that's present due to stacked saw waves interfering with one another based on the detuning mount, the different phasing effect that's occurring in there. So it's interesting. That's mainly a result of the drive. If we look at it with the signal analyzer, so watch right here as I enable it. Right now it's disabled. This will get a bit of a boost due to the filter configuration. So let me play that. So now this has a bit of a boost here right around just above 16 kilohertz. So this region here, so those upper high end harmonics have been boosted a bit due to the drive setting and the particular response of the LP mid-drive filter with cutoff at its maximum value. Okay, so next let's go ahead and let me unfreeze this. Okay, we're not going to do anything with the LFO. Let's go ahead and do the effects. So I'm going to add an EQ1, and this is where we'll start to bring out the particular sound that we're looking for here. So filter 1, we're going to leave that where it is. Filter 2, we want to set that just above 1 kilohertz, and we're going to give it a plus 1.5 dB boost. So let me go ahead and do that. And next, filter 3, we're going to bring that down to about 300 hertz and put a minus 2 dB cut in at 300 hertz. That will help clear up some of the muddiness in the low end. Now, the other thing we can do is we want to adjust the resonance slightly on this filter number 3, setting the resonance to 24. So we can right click on this filter with the mouse and then drag, and you can see up in the display window that's the resonance value. I'll actually set it down to 0, which is broad, and that'll bring it up to 24, and you can hear how it sounds. Next, filter number 4, which is the high shelf filter. We're going to put a 6 dB boost in at roughly around 2 kilohertz, maybe a little higher, and we will increase the resonance to 66 on that as well. So let me go ahead and put the gain adjustment in. That's a plus 6 dB boost. Now I will apply the resonance. So again, that resonance value on filter 4 is 66. All right, to finish the EQ, we need a second EQ. And for this one, we're going to take the low shelf and add a 6.5 dB boost just below 175 Hertz. And for that one, we want to increase the resonance to 66. And what that does by increasing the resonance on the low shelf filter is it increases the slope of this transition from the shelf into filter number 2. For filter number 2, we want to set that at 10 kilohertz. We're going to put a plus 5 dB boost. And bring the resonance, set that to 49. Which helps narrow that bandwidth and makes a sharper peak at the 10 kilohertz frequency. Next, filter number 3, we'll put a 2.5 dB boost in at about 600 hertz, maybe 700. So again, that's plus 2.5 dB boost. And for this, we want to broaden it. We don't want it to be as sharp of a peak, so we're going to lower the resonance to 13. And for filter number 4, put a plus 2 dB boost at about 5 kilohertz. And increase the resonance to 52. Okay, that takes care of the EQ. Now we want to bring in a reverb. And for the reverb, I'm just going to go through and make the setting adjustments. So in effect, it's going to be 100 dry. The wet's going to be set at 63. Well, actually, let me reset those. I'll go ahead and make the changes as I play the sequence. So let me call off the settings first. I'm going to set dry to 100, wet to 63, pre-delay to 22, range to 83. Sorry, pre-delay to 22, range to 83, feedback, set that to 70, damp 1.5, speed 78, and modulation 21. And then something we haven't seen in a patch prior to this one is Adam has set the diffuser settings all the way at their maximum. All of them go to their maximum values, and that'll really thicken up the reverb. So let me go ahead and apply those changes as I play the sequence. that's added quite a bit of volume level to the patch, so we're going to bring the master level down to 72.5. It's a very big reverb, very long decay. So now, last thing to do is add a compressor. And we want to set the attack, well, set the mode to strong. And then I'm going to set the threshold all the way up at 0. And then compress the compression mix, bring that down to 12. With these settings as they are now, let's just go ahead and we'll go through set the attack first. So I'll set that to 5250. And that reverb tail is fairly long, so let me just tell you what I'm going to do for the rest of the compressor settings, and then I'll do it. So I'm going to set release to 51. Threshold, we'll leave that at 0. The compression mix will have mostly dry. We're going to set it to 12, so I'll leave it at 0 for now, and then bring it up to 12 as I go through it. And then the input, I'm going to bring that down to -5.2, and for the output, that will be set to -6.5. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, and that completes the patch. Let me play through it one more time. I'll see you in the next video.